Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dota show. Oh, my camera's shaking, so that was not a good intro. But regardless, welcome to the Dota show. Today we'll be talking about hero roles, but before I get onto the hero roles myself, this is my cheat sheet. Yeah, this is my cheat sheet for today. I want to tell you guys a little bit about my weekend. This weekend, as you guys know, my relatives are still visiting from China, so I'm taking them to different places. We went to SeaWorld. Now I live in Los Angeles, so SeaWorld's in San Diego, so it was like about a 2-hour drive, so it's not too bad. We went to see Shamu the whale. I'm not too big on animals, but the SeaWorld was very, very impressive. I've been there when I was like 11 or 12, but I guess I don't remember it because everything I saw today was like new to me. Very, very good in the San Diego area. Definitely worth checking out. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I had a very chillax. Oh, I went to karaoke this weekend, which, by the way, if you guys don't know, I cannot sing at all. I'm like absolutely tone deaf. I can't carry tone to save my life. So that was pretty fun. The best part, or I guess the worst part, depending how you look at it, is I can't sing, but I'll keep grabbing the mic to sing. So my friends are like, "Ah, stop singing," that kind of stuff. But yeah, how's everybody doing? Everybody's doing great. Yeah. Everybody's doing great. Okay, today we're going to be talking about hero roles. And when I say the term hero role, I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think, right? Do you think about hero roles in the class system where you have carry, support, ganker, initiator, utility? When I say the term hero roles, is that what you think? Or do you think the number system? The number system being the one role, the 3 role, the 4 role, the 5 role, the 2 role. If you think the class system, the carry, support, utility, initiators, type 1 in the chat. If you think about the number role, the number classification system, where you have the 3 support, the 1 semi-carry, the 1 carry, type 2 in the chat. Type 2 in the chat. Now, if you guys don't know what the number classification is, it's a classification I think came out of China, where they talk about the heroes and how much farm they get. So if you're the 1 role, you get the most amount of farm for your team. If you're the 2 role, well, you get a lot of farm, less than the 1, but you know, second highest on your team, right? And then basically it's a ranking from 1 to 5 based on how much farm you get. 1 being the highest, 5 being the least amount. So sometimes it's like, oh, that player plays the 5 role, so that player plays the quote-unquote support, and usually plays a hero that gets the least amount of farm. So I just want to know, I'm seeing a couple of 1s, a couple of 2s, a couple of 5s, don't know what that means. A lot of people, yeah, I think when I first started Dota, and I think when anybody first started Dota, they think of really the class system, right? You think of, oh, I'm playing a carry, I'm playing a support, I'm playing ganker, so I should go gank, I'm playing utility, I'm playing, you know. I think when you walk into a game like that, that's a very, very good way to start. And even Valve, right? If you go into, well, I could actually do that right now. If you guys haven't actually used the Learn tab, I would really recommend you to go check out the Learn tab, because like it contains a lot. So I'm quickly gonna go over to Keeper of the Light. And it'll say things like, well, it should say things like, why doesn't, oh, yeah, he's a pusher, right? He'll say, oh, this guy's a pusher. And that's what I mean by, like, he's got a role of a pushing hero. And I think starting out, very new to the game, that's a good way, because you don't know what's really a carry, you don't know what's really a support. And those type of classification being done by Valve, very helpful to new players. But I think after playing the game for about 3 to 6 months, I think that way of looking at the game actually becomes detrimental to your growth as a player. And I'll talk about that why in just a bit. So quickly, we're going to jump into a game today. We're going to be looking at 2 different heroes, but both of the heroes are going to be played by the same player. The first hero we're looking at is Rubick, being handled by Sing Sing. You guys should know who Sing Sing is. A very, very popular player who streams. You should check his stream out. Very, very hilarious from what I've seen. But this is from IG versus Mal Sports. And time to jump into the game. Okay, so I'm talking about the roles. I'm talking about the classification of 1 through 5. If you ever thought about the game as, oh, I think of the roles as carry, supports, and gankers and initiators, that's fine. No problem with me. But today, for temporarily, I want you to forget all about that. I want you to think for the rest of the hour, think about roles as 1 through 5. 1, getting the highest amount of farm in the game. 5, getting the least amount of farm in the game. So let's quickly look over Mousesport's lineup here. We got a Venomancer, a Enigma, a Rubick, a Leshrac, and a Sand. So who's actually getting the highest amount of farm in this game, right? You can't really tell because all 5 of these heroes could use with farm, but really, it's hard to say. Let's look at the IG team. It's a lot easier to say who's going to get the most farm in the team. For example, Zoe here he's playing the 1 hero. He's playing the Morphling. He's going to get the most amount of farm. You call him the hardcore quote-unquote carrier on this team. Ferrari and YYF, I think they're playing respectively the 2 and 3. You can make an argument depending who's farming a little better. Let's just say that the Invoker is playing the 2 role. YYF is playing the 3rd role. And then the 4 and 5 is split between Chuan and Faith. These 2 heroes are going to be getting somewhat, least amount of items. They're going to be getting very, very little farm, right? So that's very easy to classify. Well, how do we classify here? Who is actually playing the 1? It's a little bit hard to say. Now, of course, if you know a little bit more about Mousesport, you know that Black plays the carry most of the time. So let's just say that Black on the Leshrac is going to be playing the 1 role, although he's not farming that well right now. Let's say that Sing Sing is playing a 2 role, because he generally does. He goes solo mid or gets a lot of farm. He's going to be playing Rubick, and he's quite farming decently, so he's playing the 2 role. Let's just say Come With Me is playing the 3rd role here, number 3. You can see that he's actually leading the game in terms of CS. And the reason I say he's in the 3rd role is because he actually started out in the jungle, and a lot of these jungle creeps aren't worth too much. So this number is a little bit inflated. And respectively, Sexy Bambo most likely playing the 4 role. Ooh, Sexy Bambo, you're feeding a little bit here. You're playing the 4 role, and Mouse 1437 playing the 5 role. Now, the number doesn't mean too much until we jump into the 2nd game. In the 2nd game, we're going to see Sing Sing playing also Rubick, but instead of playing a 2-row Rubick or arguably a 1-row Rubick that we see in this game, he's going to play a 4-row Rubick. What that means is, in I guess simpler terms, he's transitioning from a very, very hardcore carry type of Rubick play here to a very, very hardcore support type of Rubick. And the reason I thought that was very interesting is that a lot of players, even if they pick a hero to do different things, for example, if you pick a carry Tide versus if you pick a support Tide, generally you have different players playing it. But Mousesports, one of the few teams that when they pick a Rubick, no matter what type of Rubick they have, they always put it on Sing Sing. So sometimes Sing Sing play as a 2 player, sometimes he plays as a 4 player. So just shows the versatility. Just make sure that we're kind of familiar with what stage of the game we are right now. Let's check out that, Dire is leading about by 7,500, excuse me. Meanwhile, the EXP is a little bit even. We see a little bit of a skirmish action for this tower. I want you to actually take attention. We're going to be looking at selected team fights for Sing Sing, and we're going to keep our eyes on him. We're going to be looking at him and his positioning in team fight. You can see that by his item real fast. Face Boot as well as Yule Scepter steals an EMP. The fight's going to break out right now. Haste Rune activated. EMP gets casted. Faith is going to pop the dust. And a little bit of trade here. Sexy Bambo, by the way, is going to make some great play, but he's going to eat a lot of spells in the beginning. Faith is going to go down. Sexy Bambo barely gets mega, would be fine. Tornado picks up him here. He should be fine. Sing Sing, you can see he's very much so in the front line, right? Just trading spells, trading a lot of nukes, and trying to ward off everyone away. YYF comes back in, and Burrow Strike from nice Sexy Bambo. Look at how low his HP is. And Mousesports does win this team fight. Alright, great play from Sexy Bambo. We're going to watch that team fight one more time, this time in half speed, and we're going to be focusing nothing but on Rubick this time. Radiant's top tower is under attack. I just want to point out how mobility-based this build has been so far. Face Boot, Yule Scepter, so generally that's as much MS that you're going to get. Of course he has a haste rune right now, so he's basically moving haste at speed. Again, generally when you're playing a caster, Invoker, Leshrac, or Leshrac's a different case, but Invoker, Rubick, you always stay very far much on the back. Sing Sing being a very aggressive player, staying very, very forward in a position. And I'll talk about why he's staying a little bit more forward in just a bit, and has a lot of read lines on this role. You can see, again, constantly in the front line, making sure that he could cast whatever spells, steal whatever spell possible, and of course be casting as well. But in the front line, he's so tanky, he does such a high amount of damage, he's really winning the fight for his team. And of course, great play again here from the headless Sexy Bambo. I don't even know why Valve, every week there's some interesting thing with this. Right. So Sing Sing again, very forward, very aggressive. We're gonna be watching a couple team fights and see if we could find any familiar themes, very similar themes. That's team fight number 1. Mouseboard wins this one, fairly decently. Next team fight is gonna occur in about a minute or so, so we're gonna just AXP through that one. This is not a very common build on Rubick. On Rubick, a lot of times we see Arcane Boots, we see Force Staff, but he just went all the way to pick up Phase and Yule Scepters, and as well as a Blink Dagger as well. Now, Mouseboard, if you guys watch a lot of pro games, they're a team that's very known for aggression, sometimes even over aggression, and diving very deeply. But for a player like Sing Sing, he loves to go dive. Again, maybe a little bit too much, but looks like we're going to have a big base pushing attempt going to happen here against IG. IG, by the way, they're actually ahead in terms of kills right now, but behind in terms of farm. A couple of steals here and there. There's an Aegis Immortal here on their carry player, Black. And we're going to see how this team fight is going to be breaking out. You can see Black is just running up and forth, trying to get some damage on the tower. EMP Tornado is going to be dropped. We're going to go about half speed. Now, one of the distinction if you're playing the one row, generally you get the Aegis. I want to say 90% of the time you get the Aegis. Blinking here from Sing Sing, again being very aggressive, despite being he's playing against a Night Stalker. Look at this great epicenter, but his entire team has no backup from Sexy Bamble. And now you see that Ferrari is picking off the Sand King. Sing Sing does realize there's 2 heroes very low in terms of HP. Look at such aggressive play. I like to remind you he's playing a caster, and he's just diving into the enemy base. Nice self-disruption here from the, and now Sing Sing in a little bit of trouble. Come with me comes with a big black hole, perhaps. Zo, great reaction. Just stuns him up, and now Come With Me in a big trouble as well. Sing Sing's gonna go down. Laguna play on Come With Me. Come With Me's drop a 3-man black hole, but if a tree falls in the forest and no one nearby to hear it, does it make a sound? And the answer is no, because you can hit a 3-man black hole, but if your team's not there to follow up, it's a pretty bad black hole. In any case, what I'm trying to show you guys in these last couple of team fights, as you can see Rubick, Sing Sing very aggressively buying back. What I want to show you in these last 2 team fights, that generally when you're playing the 1, 2, and 3 role, you're very forward in your position, right? Very aggressive despite playing a caster. If you want to actually, again, look at the team fight, but let's look at it from IG's perspective. As this team fight broke out, I want you to look at the IG's here, right? Morphling is your 1, Invoker is your 2, Night Stalker is your 3. Again, Invoker, Night Stalker, a little bit, the exchange. Look at, these are the only 3 heroes that's ever going to stay forward. IG, Faith, as well as Tron, they're going to stay back. Aggressive play from YYF, he's running forward. And the only time that they're ever going to be in trouble is against Blink Dagger heroes like Sexy Bamble. But Ferrari in the front lines, Morphling very aggressive in the front line, as well as the Night Stalker very aggressive in the front line. And similarly, if you think about how Sing Sing is playing it, he's playing as a carry, quote-unquote carry hero. He's playing the 2 row here. So regardless, he's going to be staying very forward. Same thing with the Lestrak. He's playing the 1 row, so he's staying very forward. Enigma, he's playing the 3 row, so he's staying very forward. One of the trend that you see, and I'm not going to look at the game anymore, but one of the trend you see here is that when you play the carry role, carrying quote-unquote, you go forward. Why do you actually go forward? Some heroes don't even want to do that, right? Some heroes want to stay back, like Sniper, for example. Those are generally the fringe cases. The reason you want to go forward on the quote-unquote the carry heroes from row 1, 2, and 3 is because you have a lot of tank. If you look at a lot of heroes that are built these days, are built either very tank or very mobile. For example, if you look at Sing Sing's build here, very mobile and pretty survivable if you think about it. He has Waveform as a backup. He's stealing the spell from the Morphing, obviously. He has a Blink Dagger. He has the Yule Scepter for himself. And after he heals himself up, he could blink out as well. So you either go for very tanky, and you go for very mobility. And what's the best way to use tankiness or mobility? Well, you want to be participating in the middle team fight. Either tank a lot of it and survive, and dish out a lot of damage at the same time, because, well, that's what your items are for. That's what carries are supposed to do in a team fight, right? You do a lot of disruption, you do a lot of damage, hopefully survive, and hopefully to, do your stuff. Meanwhile, the 2 support, your 4 and 5 row, they stay in the back. They stay in the back and try to help out. What about casting a lot of nukes, casting a lot of disables, casting the mech, casting the Force Staff, helping our teammate. So that's why when you see, when you're playing the 1, 2, and 3 row, you want to be forward. When you're playing the 4 and 5, you want to stay back. And again, that sounds very cookie cutter, and that sounds very dry. And there are exceptions. There definitely are exceptions. I talked about Sniper being the key exception here. Some heroes like Stormsphere, you really want to stay out and then you zip in. Some other heroes like Nigma, perhaps you want to stay out and then jump back in with a big black hole. There's always exceptions, but for the most part, you want to be in the middle of the fight if you're playing these heroes, because again, your team is giving you the highest amount of farm, the second highest amount of farm, the third highest amount of farm. You want to actually help your team win the fight when you do get the farm. So this is a good time to jump into our second replay, and again, this is a very, very bland analysis of the game so far, so it might not be too interesting, but once we jump into the second replay, that's when things kind of happen, because, again, we're going to watch Sing Sing play Rubick, but he's going to be playing Rubick as a support, as a 2 or as a 4 role, even 5 if you will. So how do you actually transition? Again, Sing Sing a very aggressive player who usually, he wants to be in the middle of the fight, but again, if you're playing the 4 or 5, you generally want to stay back, correct? You generally want to stay back. So let's jump into our, I'll skip over the pick and ban and make sure we don't miss too much of the action. Now, quick question to the chat. You guys have seen these pro games. If you're watching a support Rubick, what items do you think he will generally get? Just most of the common items you guys have seen. What items have you guys seen very commonly from support Rubicks? Not a trick question or anything. Not a trick question or anything. Let me see in the chat. Magic Wand, alright, great start. 4 staff, wards, wand, arcane. Yep, I think that's it. That's all I wanted. Her Django of Endurance, I really like that. Mana boots, chicken, mech and pipe. Mech and pipe's a little bit overzealous, but you could definitely get it if you're doing pretty well. I'm not sure why I'm watching this part. I don't really care about this particular portion. But you guys are absolutely right. If you're playing the support Rubick, if you're playing the 4 or 5 role, you want to go for the items I just mentioned. The wand, the drums. Rubick is right here. You want to go for the wands, the drums, the boots upgrade, arcane boots, 4 staff. We're pretty early in the game right now. Actually, I know how I jumped to 9 minutes in the game, but we're going to go back. I forgot to show you something. Yeah, I forgot to show you something. And that's very, very important to show you guys. Alright, so Sing Sing is on the bot lane. He's actually supporting his Invoker. So Invoker bot, a little bit awkward to see. But he's going to be laning against ROTK's Bounty Hunter. So if you, real fast, if we want to go by the similar trend, Sexy Bamboo is playing perhaps the 3rd role here. He's going mid on the Templar Assassin. Mouse Black is playing the 1 role. Definitely getting the most farm on the Silver. You could argue that Come With Me is playing 2 role. And then Sing Sing and Zara is going to be playing the 4 and 5 respectively. So I'm going to be fast forwarding to about 10 minutes in, but I want you guys to keep attention on what Sing Sing is buying. Just keep your attention on this lower right hand corner of the portion and look at what items he's buying. But going back to what I mentioned earlier, a dust picked up here, so that's another couple hundred goals down the drain. But going back to my point earlier, as a Rubick, if you're playing the 4 or 5 role, things like Wand, Racer, drums, arcane boots, 4 staff, and mech if you could buy it are all very good items. But throughout all of that, you gotta keep in mind that you have to upgrade a courier, you have to buy the wards, you have to buy the dust in this case because you're going up against invisible heroes. So we're just going through, we're flying through to the 10 mark, another pair of wards being picked up here. So I mean, despite the fact that he plays a lot of carry, Sing Sing can support, and he's doing a very beautiful job at that right now, buying whatever. Again, we're just paying our attention here, because action only really starts 12 minutes in the game. Still helping his team. I wonder if Earthshaker is really buying the other awards. Seems like Earthshaker is not. So basically, Rubick here is playing the 5, and he's playing 5 by look at that, another pair of dust. Always good to upgrade your wands, go into your TP scroll. Good to have TP scroll. Alright, so we are pretty good in this game now. We could actually look at what's happening. So he's 3-1-0. Pretty good score for a support overall. Actually, in fact, a very, very good score. You only die once, but you have contributed a lot to his team. Unfortunately, not too much assists to show for. I guess getting a lot of kills with Fable is Sing Sing. But we're going to look at the next team fight here. Next couple of team fight here from Rubick. The same player. The reason I chose the same player is to actually look at the tendency of these same players. Again, Sing Sing, aggressive player. Mouseboard, very, very aggressive team. But what we're going to see from this game is that his aggression will punish him. He's going to play Rubick very, very similarly like he played Rubick from last game. But what's the difference? He's playing the 4-row here. He's playing the 5-row here. He does not have the tankiness, nor does he have the mobility to really go in the forward of fight. But regardless, because he's such an aggressive player, he will go into the frontal portion of the fight. And Sing Sing will just drop a couple of times because he's being a little bit too over-aggressive. So force that forward, that was come with me. They're going to burn down ROTK. Are we going to have a team fight breakdown? I wrote down the time, 12 minutes. And 12 minutes is happening very soon. Is it going to happen? Yeah, I think it's going to be the team fight up top. Yep, it's going to be a team fight up top. Sing Sing already getting into position. So again, like all these team fight, we're going to play a little bit closer attention to Sing Sing and his positioning, how it's going to be fighting. This ROTK already down to half HP, moving very quickly with track. Sing Sing should be, again, staying very, very far behind from his team and using the AoE nuke to his advantage. Nice dodge here on the vacuum. We're watching Sing Sing again, steals the vacuum. Not too much mana to use. Let's go actually go down to half speed. Sing Sing just in the middle of the team fight right now, but still, you can see he's staying far back, staying away from his teammates, same from his carry teammates to be exact. Staying far back, don't want to anger the pandas. They are very, very strong. Bamboo, by the way, going for the kill. Oh, he misses, not gonna get the kill on Lone DD, although the neutral does clean up. Meanwhile, this range creep is gonna kill Zippo. Alright, pretty cute. How are we doing here? We're cycling up in the air by the Storm Panda. Alright, so we're not casting too much, but that's fine. We're still survive. Our OTK is going to get picked up by Fable. Sing Sing very good in terms of chaosing. Right? So this is in theory how you should play the 4 or 5, right? When the team fight was breaking out here, Sing Sing was over here. He was never initiated, right? At the end of the team fight, he has a lot of HP, very little mana. This is always what you want to see if you're playing a 4 or 5. A lot of HP at the end of team fight, very little mana left. That means you're casting every single spell that you have, you're staying very relevant, but you're actually kiting out of way. You're using range to your advantage. Now again, there's some supports that, you know, are a little bit different. For example, if you're Tidehunter, you want to be in the middle of everything, right? So there are always exceptions to the rule, but Sing Sing playing the Rubick, that's what you want to be doing. And again, a huge difference, a day and night difference between what we see right now in this game and what we saw from the last game when he was playing the quote-unquote carry Rubick. Alright, we're going to have another fight coming up here. Again, I want you to pay attention to what he's been picking up constantly. Wards, sentries, dust, TP scroll. Always good to have. Always good to have. Alright, a team fight's going to break out right now. I'll talk about the arcane boots in just a bit. At least I think a team fight's going to break out right now. Sing Sing, look at how aggressive. His teammate's here. He is right here. And what happens? Well, he dies. He dies because he has nothing. He doesn't even have a bracer. He has a wand for 8 charges. Now, that wasn't too much of a fight. And I really want to go back here and quickly see how quickly you'll die as a 750 HP hero if you're just slightly out of position. This is why Crystal Maidens, Ventral Spirit, Witch Doctor, insert your support here, die so quickly. Because, you know, sometimes you play a little bit too aggressive. Now, granted, there's an invisible hero nearby, but look, he's diving past tower. His teammate's here. Sing Sing's here, so this is a classic, classic over-aggression by Sing Sing, and he just gets picked off. Now, earlier we're saying on a quote-unquote 4-roll, what item do you get? Well, I don't really care about how this fight anymore, because Sing Sing is already there. Hero's already dead, so not caring too much. What do you get as a support, quote-unquote support, or the 4 or 5-roll Rubick? Well, you get the arcane boots, you get the magic wand, you get a bracer and drums if your team needs it, and you get a 4 staff. What is in common with all these items? Well, the one thing that's in common is that it gives you a lot of HP, or excuse me, I give you a lot of mana to work with. As you know, Rubick and most other supports out there, they drain through their spells because their spells most likely have very, very low cooldown, and they cost quite a bit, right? And especially in Rubick's case, because you're stealing enemy spells, and you can steal about 2 or even 3 spells in a single team fight if you survive long enough. You need every little bit of mana that you can get. So 4 staff, arcane boots, and magic wand to a certain extent really helpful for that. Secondly, you're a support, right, in nature, quote-unquote, and I keep using the bracket and quote-unquote support. And I'll tell you guys why I'm using the brackets in a bit. You're a support, so you want to be supporting your team with arcane boots. Shaker, very mana-intensive hero. Same thing with the Invoker. And you can make an argument that Templar Assassin does burn through quite a bit of your mana very quickly as well. So having an arcane boot for your team is always a good thing. And why do you want a 4-staff? Well, if you want to go back to this team fight where he was fighting perfectly, his team is over here, and he's over here. But one thing you could do is, let's say if your Syllabare is in a little bit of trouble, well, you force them out. You generally save the 4-staff for your teammate and not for yourself. And that's one of the distinctions that a lot of support players do not make. They get a 4-staff for themselves and be like, oh yeah, now I could play aggressive, I could dive. You definitely can do so, but perhaps a little bit more effective is if you save your anti-mage, if you save whoever it carries on your team using that 4-staff, right? That's the versatility of 4-staff. Use it for yourself as well as your teammate, and as a support, you generally want to use it for your teammate. Alright, we're going to be fast forwarding to one last team fight in this game. Again, I want you to pay attention to Rubick's inventory. Picking up dust and wards. I have lost track of how many he's been getting so far, but I imagine it's going to be his third pair of dust, perhaps the third pair of his wards. He's buying teleport scroll whenever he can. So, he's definitely spending a lot of gold. Definitely spending a lot of gold for his team, and doing a very, very good job at that. There's a triple kill happening, which don't really particularly care too much. Team fight is going to happen here around 22-minute mark in the game time. No, not this one, not this one. And if you can see right now, like mouse board is actually pwning, right? They're actually pwning really, really hard. And this is actually a very, very important thing to point out if you're playing support. Sometimes you're going to be in a game like this where your team is just winning 27-11. I mean, this is a huge decisive victory advantage for your team. You know, you're doing very well in terms of both items, you do and gold. But a lot of times you're like, hey man, I'm doing well. Does that mean I can play aggressive? Well, sometimes. But that also means that, again, if you play aggressive, again, we're going to be watching Sing Sing, you're going to be dying very quickly as well. Sing Sing has added a staff of wizardry since then. He has to go for the quarterstaff right now, but team fight is going to break out, so ooh, Bamboo already breaking people apart, and you can see that Sing Sing, again, very, very forward. Let's go down to half speed. His team is here. Sing Sing's here. Man, Sing Sing is playing so aggressive, and he's going to pay for it here. Look, just one nuke is down to half HP. He has the protection of his teammate, so he should be okay, but regardless, he's playing the 4-row, and the point I'm trying to advocate is that if you're playing the 4, if you're playing the 5, you want to be in positions like these. Stay a little bit further back. Stay where the Shaker is. Shaker is having decent position, but I suppose Sexy Bamboo's diving in. They're just chasing for kills at this point. But at the moment that DK really want to kill Sing Sing, they can very easily do so. Like, very easily do so. We even see Super cast a Surge on ROTK. There's a vacuum version. Look at Sing Sing's HP just dropping. Spare does hit, we're going to see a Surge, and this is going to be one of the funniest things I've ever seen. 2 Surge units on different teams, and they're going to be chasing, they're going to be chasing each other, but yeah, Sing Sing, there's no way he's going to run away because Bounty Hunter has track on you, and well, there you go. And that's what I mean. If you're slightly out of position, even if you're winning by so much, they're up by 15 kills, they're up by what, 14,000 gold? Yeah, they'll still kill you. They'll still kill you. They're very capable of killing you simply because you have items like a Staff of Wizardry, a Arcane Boots, and a Magic Wand. You are poor even though your team is winning. So that's definitely a big change, right? A huge change. So after 2 replays, one thing I want to take away from you is when you're playing the carry or when you're playing the support, let's go back to the class system, right? If you're playing the carry support, one thing you want to make sure that you're doing correctly is watch your positioning, right? If you're playing the carry, you want to be in the front, use your tanking potential, use your mobility to survive and do a lot of damage. If you're playing support, well, calm down. I know you're doing well, but just ease it back, Same player, same hero, but because I'm playing on different role, his aggression is awarded on the first team fight, on the first game, because he's aggressive, he's in there, he's punching people. Same playstyle on the second game, he's playing in the 4-row. Well, got picked off a couple of times. There was one team fight that was perfect. Other team fight, he was diving a little bit too aggressively and died because of it. So that's a distinction you want to make. The first distinction you want to make when you're talking about hero roles. Right, so for the second example I want to talk about, I want to give you guys a little bit example. Alright, and this example I'm sure all of you guys relate to, whether you're playing Dota for the first day ever or you've been playing Dota for 6 years now. Alright, you're playing public game, okay? Your team consists of Anti-Mage, Juggernaut, Mirana, Lycanthrope, and a Crystal Maiden. Right, what do we call that? We call that 4 carries and 1 support if we use a class system to talk about this, right? Four carries and one support. So you ask yourself, and you guys know in chat, that happens every day, right? Tell me that doesn't happen every day. It happens to me every day. I'm the support. That 4 carries on support, that happens all the time. And that one last support, that support was picked begrudgingly. It was like, well, we have 4 carries now, so I can't pick a carry anymore. So might as well pick a support. Every day, yeah, every day. Good job. All right, so we're on the same page. We're on the same page. Okay, so 4 carry, 1 support. And I'm going to ask you these questions, and you guys in chat, let me know whether it's going to be true or not, okay? Well, when you have 4 carries and 1 support, is your team going to be getting a courier? Well, yeah, our team's going to get a courier because Crystal Maiden, is going to get a courier. So good, we're good on that. Is Crystal Maiden going to upgrade a courier? Well, it's going to be a little bit late. Perhaps instead of upgrading in 3 or 4 minutes, it's probably going to be 5 or 6. But eventually, you will have an upgraded courier. Sometimes we have to wait till like minute 10, but eventually we have a courier upgrade. Okay, is your Crystal Maiden is going to be warding the entire game? Well, that's a tough job, warding the entire game, being the only support. She's going to have a couple of wards here and there. You're going to be sometimes pings like, Crystal Maiden, why aren't you warding for me? She is going to try her best to ward, but there are going to be time that there's not going to be any wards on the map. So you're already lacking a little bit there. Are you going to have any sentry wards or detection against other invisible heroes? No, you're not. You're not. Because that CM is poor as F already. Sometimes, if the Mirana and perhaps the Juggernaut, the good gankers on the team, sees there's a Gondo on the enemy team, or perhaps a Ricky on the enemy team, and they feel like they need a pair of dust to gank it, they'll probably buy it for themselves, and they'll go gank. Alright, that's still pretty good. I mean, you're covering the basis here, right? Very, very basis. Is your Crystal Maiden going to have to earn? Maybe if she's playing really well, if your team is doing very, very well, knocking down towers, if Crystal Maiden is not dying at all because of her good positioning, staying far back as a 4 or 5 row here. Is your Crystal Maiden going to get a mech? No, she's not. Is your team going to have a pipe? No, you're not. Is your team going to have drums? Perhaps if Mirana or Juggernaut going to get one, but most likely not. And you can see that that's a problem with 4 carries and 1 support, because everybody says, I'm getting the Manta, I'm getting the Battle Fury, I'm getting BKB, I'm getting the Vlads or whatever. You have a lot of upper end items, right? And you have very little, like the bottom end items. And unfortunately, that kind of imbalance doesn't really work in a game. Against a more balanced lineup, they will wreck you. They will wreck you, right? And I think that's all because people think when they get into a game, they use this class system. They use the quote-unquote carry. I'm a semi-carry. Because people think like that, we have this issue. This is why the issue occurs. Alright? Let's actually look at the exact same 5 heroes, but in the number system, right? To remind everybody, the number system being the 1 row, the hero that gets the most farm in the game. The 2 row, the hero that gets the second amount of farm in the game. And, all the way down to 5 row, the hero that gets the least amount of farm in the game. So let's quickly, I know I get big dairy craft here, assign a role to all of these heroes. Arguably, you say anti-mage, you're the 1 row. Not only are you good at using all of the gold, you're also very good at farming the gold. Because once you pick up the Battle Fury and, of course, a Quelling Blade, you can blink between the jungle, blink back in the lane, you're hard to gank, you're going to farm a lot. So great 1 row, alright? Let's talk about Lycanthrope. Yeah, great 2 row. He farms in the jungle. He's going to share a little bit of farm to the lane, to the anti-mage, but mostly he's going to be farming the other lanes. Great Roshan, 8-minute Vlads, 10-minute Treads, Turtle Minute Medallion, whatever, BKB, Necrobook. Great 2 row. So they're eating up most of the farm. So you're sliding down the scale. You see Juggernaut. It's like, Juggernaut, well, I know you generally like to get the Battle Fury, but perhaps not this game because, these 2, Anti-Mage and Lycanthrope, they're already, filling the 1 and 2 row spot. Let's go for a little bit more supportive item, right? Let's actually bump up the level of that healing ward. Let's make sure we get a drums on the team. Perhaps go for SMY a little bit cheaper, a little bit curve out on the item scale. Let's go for the face boots. Let's go for those very gold effective items to help our team. I know you guys out there already is like, whoa, Juggernaut getting those items? Let's work with me here, right? Mirana on the 4 row, and yes, I'm going there. We're going to quote-unquote talk about the support Mirana, right? That's why I've been using the bracket the whole time. We're going to talk about support Mirana. What do you get as a support Mirana? Has anyone even played as a support Mirana? Raise your hand if you play support Mirana. Type 1 in chat if you play support Mirana. Because nobody played support Mirana before, right? So, how do you play for as a Mirana? Well, maybe you upgrade your courier for your Crystal Maiden if you're doing pretty well. because you're gonna be a survival, right? As a support, Mirana's not bad in that. You know, maybe instead of upgrading your boots into phase boot, let's go for the arcane. Again, as Audit works this out, you actually could use the mana. Your team could definitely use the mana. Instead of going for, you know, Wraith Bands into Yasha, perhaps let's go into a Wraith Band into Ring of Aquila, give your team a little bit of pushing aura. Getting another set of drum isn't too bad. Even though your agility heroes, intelligence, and of course HP, you could definitely work with. And of course the aura for the team is absolutely insane. And if you want to go crazy, if you really want to dare craft crazy, hey, if you have the gold and if your team desperately needs a mech, Mirana mech, well, if you need mech, you need mech, right? So go for the Mirana mech if you really want to do so. So again, we're going for crazy dairy craft here. And then on 5, we have Crystal Maiden because, well, Crystal Maiden playing the 5 role. So, okay, so I want to compare the two systems, right? We have the class system where you have 4 carries, everybody thinking they are the de facto, they are deserving of the farm. And what happens? What happens in your daily experience, right? Everybody try to out-carry each other. Everybody try to steal each other's farm. How many times in a game you've seen a big creep wave pushing down one of the towers, and someone TPs there, another carry says, no, let me farm that way's mine. I'm the carry here. How many times have you seen people argue over creep waves, right? That's why I believe once you're past this 3 or 6 month mark when you're playing Dota, if you're thinking about heroes as carries, semi-carries, gankers, initiators, you're looking at the heroes in a very one-dimensional way. You have 4 carries here, all trying to farm up here. And let me tell you, they're all going to try to carry, but they're all going to fail at carry because they don't have enough farm. You simply can't share one side of the map's farm into 4 heroes. It's just not going to be sufficient. People are not going to finish their builds. However, if we look at the number system, if you're very clear, good communication is great, but if you're very clear of your teammate who is actually doing what at the beginning of the game, people will know what's happening, correct? Right? If you're anti-mage, you're going to get the most farm. Hooray, good job, farm your balls out. If you're Mirana, well, we're going to have an awkward game, but let's decide on it because it's better to have that drums, it's better to have a mech than a freaking 25-minute Yasha that's going to contribute, what, 20 damage maybe to a team fight, right? You see the big distinction here. You have a very coordinated team and a very uncoordinated team getting good items and bad items, but they all have the same lineup. That's the difference if you think about the game in a number system versus the carry support. And trust me, it doesn't help you. Now, actually, to back up this example, we're going to be jumping to the game, and we're going to be looking at Tidehunters. Now, if you guys have been watching a lot of pro games, which you should, a very good source of learning about the game. If you're watching a lot of pro games, you know Tidehunter. One of the most common ways to play Tidehunter is either on a solo position, right? You get a quick ravage, so he's most likely the 3 row in our number classification here today. Excuse me. Or he's playing the 4 or 5 row, right? Playing the support, coming in with Gush, you know, fighting on the tri-lanes and whatnot. The game we're going to be looking at today is eHome versus Absolute Legend, which, by the way, all the games I show here today so far is from the Beyond the Summit World Tour. And a quick shout out to the tournament. I have a blast casting. I think the games are absolutely great. And if you guys want to watch the replay, definitely do consider buying the pass for $3.99. It's really worth your time. We have a lot of games there, and we have the playoff coming up very, very soon. But let's look at the first team fight in this game. It's going to happen about 18 minutes in game time. So let's not just... 18 minutes. Alright, so a little bit of... Alright, 16 is good, 16 good. Alright, a little bit of... let's check out how we're doing the game. 5-5, fairly even, right? 1,000 goal lead for the rating, not too big. We're watching... Our hero for this game is going to be PCT. Or Cupid Cat or Perfect Cat, whatever you want to call him. He's going to be playing the Tidehunter. He's going to be the carry Tide. He went solo mid, went with Bottle, Anchor Smash requirement. You can see that he's maxing the big team fight breaking out right now. But Tidehunter, guess what he does? Tidehunter does best, right? Just freaking walk in and then stay in the front and just go crazy. And he's going to keep on doing this. He's just going to stay very, very much so in the front line. And again, if you're playing the carry, if you're playing the 1-2-3, that's what you do. Stay in the front, stay in the middle, and of course, Tidehunter is one of those heroes that no matter what role you're playing, you want to be in the front. You want to be threatening to drop that off that ravage. So, PCT, it's very easy to actually get good positioning with a hero like Tidehunter, but sometimes very hard to land a good Ravage because enemy team will try to kite you. Now what we're about to see is one of the worst Ravage of all time. Well, I've seen worse, but not exactly the prettiest Ravage we've seen. But we'll talk about it in a bit, right? Sometimes if you're playing a carry hero like this, or 1 or 2 or 3 row hero like this, all you have to do is be in the middle. The fact that you're in the middle of a team fight and you're threatening to do a lot of damage is already enough. And we're going to see some beautiful backstab coming here from the Panda as well as the Sankey. No dagger on the Headless Sankey right now, but there is Shaitan with the Spin Dagger and a Haste Rune to boot. Here we go. Morphling is going to be coming waving in, and he's going to start focusing. Nice self-disruption here by the Enigma. Looks like there's a Cyclone up on our Tidehunter. They're going to focus on Chen, always a good target focus. Absolute Legend having a decent fight. And here's a Ravage. Here's a Ravage. It hit Musica. That's it. It hit Musica. Bleak Waveform out. Panda are immune to it. But despite of that, right, nobody could actually go for, where the hell was that Enigma the whole time? I'm not even sure where that Enigma was. Did he die? He got sent back. Just the fact that Tidehunter was here, he just warded off a whole bunch of supports. The support couldn't come in. I mean, you had the Morphling, you know, waving in. You had the Panda blinking, and they were starting a team fight. But because of the big Ty over here, nobody else could come in. Effectively, he has shut down a couple of heroes, despite dropping one of the worst Ravage of all time, in my opinion. Although, again, I've seen worse, but that wasn't pretty. But again, a lot of times you actually don't have to be, I mean, of course you want to be dropping all your spells, and he does survive, by the way. But sometimes you whiff a spell, and that's okay. But still, as a carry, quote-unquote carry player, you want to be in the middle of the team fight. Alright, so that play was to just show you that case. Alright, we're going to have a team fight in another minute or so. One thing I'm very glad is that all these replays have very frequent team fights, so you guys don't have to wait for too long. So you can see that eHome, just by the positioning of the map, they're very aggressive, right? They're pushing for towers, so you could argue that, yeah, they're ahead, and I do believe they're ahead. They're pushing towers very, very aggressively. And here we go, we perhaps will have a team fight breaking out very soon. Again, Radiant is going to be using their mobility and try to flank. Panda Ultimate's not up, so very interesting choice for the Radiant to actually choose to take this fight. Ravage is up though, and here's the thing. Blink in here, clap. Panda, or yeah, there you go, Black Hole on 2. Waveform. But the Ravage is going to just shred everybody a piece, right? And this is one of those awkward team fights where you get initiated, so you actually don't have the time to plan out, oh, I'm going to be in the front, I'm going to be in the back. But again, the difference between a good and bad Ravage is immense. I just talked about, man, sometimes you whiff a Ravage, and that's okay. But look at how big the difference is when you hit a good one and when you hit a bad one. Music trying to just be a hero, unfortunately gets picked off, and that's a team wipe. That's an absolute team win. You can make an argument, well, you know, it's a bad fight that Absolute Legend wanted to take. They took a fight without the Panda Ultimate. Regardless, the difference between getting a really good Ultimate off as a carry Tide and getting a bad one off. After that end of the team fight, you have Pipe being finished. Insane already farm. So we're gonna skip ahead to the last team fight. The last team fight of the game in the 29-minute mark. Again, this replay by itself won't make too much sense, but after I play the replay after this, it will make a lot more sense. So bear with me here. We're gonna have one more team fight, and then it's gonna all start. Oh, the team fight broke out. The team fight already broke out. All right. Team fight already broke out. Alright, team fight happening. Blink Panda Ultimate. Initiation are pretty good. They're going to be focusing another decent black hole by Godat. Godat full channel. Epicenter gets blinking. Ravage gets dropped. Everybody going very, very low. But look at how long they have to focus on PCT to actually kill him, right? Between the pipe and the fact that he's level 15 gives him 1400 HP. He ate a Blink Panda Ultimate with the clap. He ate a black hole with the Midnight Pulse under it. He ate a freaking level 2 Epicenter, and he survived for at least 5-6 seconds. That's how tank your hero can be if you're going for the carry Tide, right? If you're going for the carry Tide, you will actually single-handedly out-tank half your enemy team. That's how strong you are. Again, just a regular team fight. We're going to jump into the next replay, which is where the magic, in my opinion, truly happens. And this is also a good time as we're waiting for the next game to load. I want to tell you guys, right? You support players out there. You support players out there. We're living a dream, right? There's always a dream out there that supports could carry. How many of us played Carry Crystal Maiden? Type 5 in the chat if you have. How many of you guys have tried to play carry Crystal Maiden and failed, right? A lot of us, I know I do this all the time, right? Play carry Crystal Maiden, try to carry, and inevitably fail, right? And truly, Crystal Maiden is not that good of a carry. And if you use the class system, a support could never truly carry, right? There's some fringe cases, like the support Vengeful Spirit could sometimes dabble into the semi-carry role. But if you're playing if you're going by class system, a support is support. A carry is carry. You know what that reminds me? That reminds me of, in old days, like in freaking Europe, if your dad's a baker, you're gonna be a baker. You know what I'm talking about? Like the class system? Yeah, it fits perfectly. If you're a support, you'll always, for the rest of your life, be a support. If your hero's role is support, right? That's fucked up. Let me tell you, class system is fucked up. Here's a pipe dream, and it's not a dream. I'm gonna tell you, everybody could carry. I have a dream that one day, little Crystal Maidens and little Vengeful Spirits gonna run together hand in hand, and they're gonna tell each other that we could all carry. That we could all carry. Could be jumping this game. And, whoops, that's the wrong slide. That's the wrong slide. And why do I say we could all carry? Well, why do we say we could all carry? Now, to be honest, Crystal Maiden at the end of the day is just not that good of a carry. There's one thing about dreaming, and there's another thing about, let's be realistic here. Crystal Maiden, not exactly the best carry hero. She doesn't use farm particularly well. She doesn't get a lot of gold very, very quickly. But, here's a big but, right? Here's a big but. Let's watch how this game is going to be going. Alright, similar to a big trend that we set up so far, we're going to be watching the Tidehunter again. Same hero, by the same player, but playing a different role. Instead of playing the 3 role, which he went solo mid last game, we're going to see him play the 4 or 5 role. You can see immediately has started a game with a pair of wards. And we're going to basically 4x or 2x speed through this game. There we go. There we go. You guys in chat already have, you guys already know what's coming up. Perhaps you guys saw the replay. This, again, is also from the World Tour. Do support the tournament if you want to by buying a ticket, or you can also support the tournament by checking out the VODs, of course. All of them are on Dota Commentary. You got DotaCommentary.com is already under the World Tour tab. Of course, LD and I are practicing for the International, so we're casting a lot of games together. Regeneration. And you can support us by letting us know what we could do better in those casts. But in case, let's go back in this game. We have this tri-lane, right? So in this tri-lane, Rubick is one of the support. Tidehunter is the other support. And I'm telling you, it's not a dream. It's not a dream. Tidehunter will be quote-unquote carrying in this game. Let me foreshadow it a little bit here. Let me foreshadow you a little bit here. I'm going to ask you a question. Right? If you have a level 9 Crystal Maiden, going up against a level 9 generic carry here, insert your generic carry if you think it's, I don't know, anti-mage or Necrolite if you think he's a carry. Just have your generic. You don't even have a hero. You don't even need a hero in mind. Just compare generically a level 9 support versus a level 9 carry. Who's going to win that fight if they should choose to take that fight? Assume equal levels and equal items. Right? To be honest, I really think the support will win that fight. Because if you think about it, equal items, equal levels, the support is actually just have better spells, right? They just have better spells. You pick the CM for the nukes, you pick CM for the stuns, you pick Venge for the stuns, you pick Venge for the nukes. They're actually just really superb heroes that has nukes and stun, but teams chose to not give them levels, choose not to give them gold, because they don't need it, right? But should they actually somehow get the gold, whether by inadvertently KSing, or whether by getting a lot of assist gold, or whether by getting a lot of towers, should your support actually get a lot of gold for whatever reason? Here comes the part. Yes. Yes. Yes, we can. We can actually carry. If somehow you actually get a lot of gold, you can actually carry. And that's kind of the insane thing, because when you're killing the enemy heroes like this, you're going to be very ahead in terms of EXP, you're going to be very ahead in terms of gold, and you're going to be on par onto enemy carries. So just going back to my previous point, a level 9 Tidehunter will outdo a level 9 Prophet, right? Flat out. He's going to outdo a level 9 Lesh, flat out. He's going to outdo a level 9 Templar Assassin, perhaps. Simply because, like Tidehunter, he's a big tank. He's got great nukes. He's got Anchor Smash. He's got a huge ultimate. He does a lot for his team. Now, a lot of times he doesn't hit level 9. He doesn't have that brute upgrade because, well, he's playing support. What we're gonna see in this game, again, same player, same hero, he will get up to that powerful start. He gets into an immense fast start because in this bot lane, they are ponying right now. Look at that. Look at that. It's just absolutely easy. 5 kills happening in the entire game for his team. He's involved in 4 of them, getting 3 kills and 1 assist. And the dream continued. The dream is going to be realized very soon. Man, this tri lane, by the way, is absolutely immense. Alright, so really real fast. Generally, when you're playing the support Tide or the 4 or 5 Tide, you want to put a little bit more points into Gush and a little bit less points into Anchor Smash. As we see a crazy 3-man gang here. The reason that he's actually putting more points into Anchor Smash is because he's leveling, or he's playing it with the Naga Siren. Naga Siren's net will put them in position. And of course, when they're actually held in place, you don't really need a slow from Gush. Also, because of the Riptide, gives the minus armor to the enemy unit, and because your Anchor Smash is dealing physical damage, you actually do a lot more damage when you're doing Anchor Smash. Of course, you could fire off your own Gush as well to get even more minus armor. So that explains a little bit adjustment in terms of Tidehunter's skill build. But yes, again, 4-1-1, 7 kills on his team. He's been involved into big part of it. He's getting some, well, he has no last hit, but a skid skills is all, all he has right now at this point. Now, if you remember what the Tidehunter got in the last game, what PC got last game, he got a bottle, which he got it very early because he was solo mid. Again, another kill attempt on here. Bleak gonna be in a little bit of trouble. He's gonna get picked up, get dragged back, Burrow strike out, but he's basically dead. Oh, I say that? No, he survives. At least for now. Ooh, Lamb's not gonna be diving for. No big deal, no big deal. Again, if you remember what PCT got last game, he's got the bottle, he's got the arcanes, he's got a cloak into a pipe, and he eventually finished out with the game, I think with a blink and a soak curious or something like that. In this game, he's playing the 4-0, so in theory, right, in theory he should not be getting that much farm. He just shouldn't be because, well, he's giving up the farm to the Naga, right? And again, he is going to get to the farm because, again, they're getting so many kills, another hero dies, a teleport comes in right now, Song of Siren, Ravage, Shaitan just get picked off again. That's yet another kill, 5-1-2. Musica TP is in right now, you don't really want to be here. And they back off, and they back off. So we're 8 minutes in, Tidehunter's 5-1-2, and he's going to be rich. His next item is going to be a cloak. So basically, he's playing the 4, and he's building items as if he was the 3. Again, I want to reiterate that one more time. Very important to actually just think about it. You're playing as a support, but you're buying the same amount of item as if you're playing a solo mid. Doesn't that just sound awesome? Doesn't that just sound like crazy? You're playing a support, but you're getting as much items as you were getting if you had played solo mid. That's insane. That's why people, if you're playing support, if you have a fast start for whatever reason, and you continue to have that fast start, if you're getting kills, if your team's getting a lot of kills, if you're knocking down towers, right? You can actually carry. And again, I want to use the term carry very, very loosely here. We're going to be speeding up through a lot of this game. We're going to have just one team fight to watch. Well, perhaps this one right here. Charging in the middle. Again, he's a support, right? He should generally stay back, but he charges in because he doesn't give a damn very far ahead at this point. Goldat gets picked up. Goldat's going to get picked off. There's a Ravage on his team, so Goldat's teammate can't really come in to help out. And, well, Goldat using Mel. I'm not sure what he's... Well, alright. Took a while. Time to pick up yet another kill for his team. Good. Gonna push the bot tower. Cloak, there we go, getting dust. So he's still doing support duty. I'm not telling you guys, hey, if you have a fast start, just forget your team about wards. Forget the team about everything else. I'm not saying that. He's still getting the dust. He's still getting the wards for the team. But I'm saying you could get the dust, the wards, and supplement your item set with, that quick drums or that quick mecha or quick 4-staff, whatever quick item you're getting. So still helping out the team is PCT. We're going to claim this tier 1. Again, 7 and 3 so far. 7, 2, and 3. Dust gets delivered. Very nicely done. Of course, you're getting the dust for that Templar Assassin. It's going to be going back very, very soon. And of course, going to be saving for that cloak. Or saving for the hood. Alright, so big team fight is going to break out fairly soon. Alright, here comes a big aggressive TP from Tidehunter. Song of Siren to initiate. They just see Roberto. And let me just tell you, Roberto... Roberto gets picked off again. And Absolute Legend wants to take this fight. Blink misses a huge ultimate. Rubick gets dropped off. Freaking, he's low as heck. He survived just barely because of a cloak. The difference it makes between picking a 15% survivability item, he's still staying by though. Keep in mind that he's still staying nearby. Just dropping for Gush. There you go. Nice Gush. Very reminiscent to Sexy Bambo's play over here if you watch early on for Sankey. Remember, very low HP but stays back, and until his spells cools down, he's going to come back and drop spells. So very, very good team fight. That was 4 for nothing. Tidehunter TP in with basically like, 80% HP, but still great initiation. That's enough gold. He is going to upgrade the Magic Wand now.
Radiant's top tower has
and we're going to have yet one more team fight I want to show you in this game. Again, the big difference between this game and the previous game, again by the same player on the same hero, is that he really didn't need that solo mid. Right? He didn't really need that solo mid to get the same item. I think he had a similar amount of item at that stage of the game compared to now. And that's the beauty of playing support. Sometimes you're going to have a powerful start and you're going to be one of the best heroes in the game. Again, support heroes generally have the best stuns in the game. They generally have the best disables in the game. But because they generally don't have enough farm, they get picked off. But in the rare case that you do have enough farm, you are actually one of the strongest heroes on the map. And what did we call that? Yeah, we call that the carry. We call that the carry when you're one of the strongest heroes on the map. Now, obviously, you don't retain the status for the the entire game, but you're pretty good for the most part. All right, here we go. Big team fight breaking out. They won MMY. MMY really is still okay. Still okay. Biggest ravage of his life. PCT. Here we go. On top of everybody in the middle of the fight, taking damage, meching up. Still very healthy. Perhaps he's going to go down here. No, 2-man shackle shot. Doing very nicely. Still sticking around. Has a Gush Anger Smash for 1 kill. Tanky ass. Mother effer. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day supports will carry. And that dream will be realized. And again, if you have powerful starts as a support hero, don't forget that you are in fact the strongest hero on the map. And in that sense, you stay in the front line. You use your extra mobility item that you're picking up. Use your tanky item that you're picking up to punish the enemy team. Just quickly look at the level. Tidehunter level 9. Yup, he's keeping on par. If you have the same levels and same items as the enemy team, you are... Yes, you are stronger, even as the support hero. That's gonna be it. That's gonna be it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I need to take a time to do a little bit of sponsor on Walnogut and soothe my throat. Soothe my throat. Questions for today? Question for today? No questions. Questions about the show today, because there's a lot of other questions that Alright, no questions. Alright, I get to end the show early. Thank you guys for tuning in. Ooh, we ran a little bit late tonight. Man, that show was exactly 1 hour long. Alright, what else have I dreamed about? Well, tune in for next time on the Tuesday. I dream a lot about Dota stuff. I actually dreamed about meeting Ice Frog. That was a very interesting dream, but I'll share that story with you guys in another day. Thank you guys for watching in, and tomorrow is going to be on LD's channel. He's going to be talking about a hero specific. Not exactly I'm not sure what hero he's going to be talking about. Perhaps one of the newer heroes. But for now, thank you guys for tuning in every Sunday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, either on my YouTube channel or excuse me, neither on my Twitch TV channel, on LD Dota's Twitch TV channel, or the best place that you can watch it all is on DotaCommentaries.com, because everything is actually there. So check it out there. It's going to be on the front page. That's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow on DotaCommentaries.com, 7 p.m. Pacific. Good night, everyone.